So you've just got your hands on FC24, but you're not knowing what to apply when it comes to game settings, visuals, custom tactics, and even what players to use. Well, don't worry, because in today's video, I'm going to help you guys out. So first things first, we're going to go to the settings, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm using when it comes to gameplay. Now, with the preset, you're going to want to use this on competitive, because if you start applying certain tactics or instructions here, basically when you're playing at Foot Champions or any competitive mode, it basically engages this competitive switch anyway. So stuff that you feel like you would have applied on, it turns off. So auto shots are obviously off. You've got assisted headers off, shot assistance assisted, time finishing on. I would recommend trying to use this. It's when you power up and then press it again, that timing window to have an increased shot power as well as finishing, so you want to leave that on and just learn it. You got through ball assistance. I have this on semi. Now I like to have that in between of not allowing the AI or the game itself to take too much control over my passing, but I don't want it manual. It's a nice happy balance in between where most of my passes are semi, and then I've got the ground pass to be assisted. Pass receiver late, precision pass sensitivity, I've just left normal personally. You can play around with that, but I'd recommend just leaving it on normal for now. Clearance assisted, you want directional. Otherwise, if you have it on classic, it's basically going to do it for you. You want to be able to pick where you're going to obviously clear the ball. Tactical defending or advanced defending. Now, advanced defending may be better with certain playstyles on different defenders, but I would recommend leaving it on tactical, and it's not actually default on tactical this year, so make sure you switch that back so it's very similar to FIFA 23. You're going to have more control from what I believe when it comes to like jockeying and just making tackles. Just leave it on tactical if you don't know what you're doing. Pass assistance, or sorry, pass block assistance, leave that on. And we have auto switching on air balls and loose balls. You're going to want to allow the game to do a little bit for you. Auto move assistance. So basically when you're running backwards, let's say you're defending the wing and then you switch off to protect someone in the middle, that player that you just switched off to is going to continue their run for a short period of time. Now this is good because on FC24 you want to keep as active as you can in the defense. Otherwise, if you're not positioning and keeping shape, you're going to get done. So I like that on low. I actually used to play that on none on FIFA 23, but low it's probably best to go for. A right stick switching on classic. Player relative, this isn't even up for debate. Like, you don't want it on ball relative, it's player relative as always. Right stick sensitivity, so this is obviously when you're switching in between your players. I've kept it on 4, that's the standard, and I've had no issues. Next, player switch on classic. A player lock on, so that's when you're pressing the left stick and right stick in, and you can then use the right stick to flick over to maybe an attacker, pull them into the wing, and then it's an easy pass slip down the line. I'd leave it on and learn how to do that. Icon switching off. Contextual dribbling, that's automatically off with a competitive switch. Orbit dribbling on, and assisted save assistance and analog sprint off. Okay, so those are the game settings. Hopefully that's going to help you guys out. Now, when it comes to the camera, now I've always been a tele broadcast type of player, but over recent years, I've noticed that, you know, you've got that tunnel vision. There isn't really enough of that pitch that you can see. And especially on FC24, people are able to play it down the line. And if you're not predicting and anticipating what your opponent is doing, you're going to get caught out. So I found like a happy medium once again. So co-op, make sure you apply that on co-op. Custom down here, 10, 12, 10. That's really all that I changed with this. Ball tracking speed, put it on 0. All of that stuff is basically neutral on 10. But power shot is off. So I believe this is the LB and RB. So you know how you do those power shots on FC24? If you don't have that on, then you don't see it. But if you have it on, then your player's going to like zoom in and it just looks a bit silly. So just leave it off and you should be fine. Now, visuals, this is going to be important because I believe it actually makes a difference to how the game's loading, and it might cause some frame rate issues. So you know how you've seen like play styles pop up or your like evolution cards? I think it still applies for evolutions, but it just shows you what play styles your players actually have. You want to turn that off in game. You don't need to see that. You already know. So turn that off. And then there's one down here as well, which is this one. Not that one. Hyper motion insight overlays. Turn that off, because that's all of the ones where they show you like shots on target or possession in certain areas of the pitch. It's just too much loading into the game, and it will probably cause you to lag in certain situations. So turn that all off. and you should be good. So before I go and show you my custom tactics, I want to go through every single position and give you 3 cards to take away. The majority I've used myself, but there are a few players in here that I have some real problems coming up against. So starting off with a goalkeeper, Oblak, my personal choice, the best goalkeeper that I've used so far in the game, period. Kabul, I keep coming up against, and he reminds me very similar to his Team of the Season version last year, really OP. And Inla, there was a lot of stigma surrounding those female goalkeepers. Are they actually going to be that good? Well, she has been top quality for me. Great positioning, really nice reflex saves. So go and try those guys out. And girl. So this year, more than ever, it's really important to have pace in those fullback positions. And Hakimi, a card that I never used to really get on with because of the lack of defensive awareness. On FC24, he is top quality. Really nice speed, of course. And just the way he was clutching up and defending for me, I like him a lot. So Hakimi, absolutely a #1 choice. Walker is going to basically give you the same thing, but with a little bit more physicality. And Di Lorenzo is a card that I've only ever come up against, but when I have, he has been strong. I've noticed his presence, and it's been really difficult to get down that right-hand side. So personally, I would say maybe Kyle Walker is just, you know, that guy. But Hakimi, give him a go. Give him a chance. He's going to give you maybe a little bit more of that attacking threat, better on the ball, so try him out. So there's been a ton of centre-backs that I've been facing lately, so I tried my best to shortlist literally the best ones. But Mappy Leon might be a surprise. She's only 5'7", but if you're someone that is really wanting to play out from the back, she has fantastic defending quality, really good passing on her card, and the defensive work rate, stats, and everything are great. It's just, will you trust her being 5'7"? Well, I've never used her myself, but I've seen what she can do against me. And another one, I think it's Renard from the Ligue 1, playing for Lyon. These are 2 women that are standout right now, so I'm going to have to give them a go myself. But Ronald is my guy, still super trustworthy, massive body type in game, and feels fast in his stats. Saliba is great. Even though he's expensive, he probably is worth the price. Great recovery speed and just a dominant centre-back. Schlotterbeck, if you're building your Bundesliga side, give him a go, maybe alongside Kim and Jay, and you can have a nice time. Virgil van Dijk, still huge in game and dominant from corners. And Rudiger is a card that I used in the draft, and I wasn't really too fond of. He didn't feel as good as maybe he has done in the past, but when I face up against him, he's ridiculously good. So I'm going to have to give him another go. Maybe 4 games wasn't enough to try him. Kimpembe, my guy as well. Kimpembe, Ronalds, that's my centre-back duo on the RTG. And Eder I haven't used yet, but he's another one that seems to be fantastic this year. So go and try those out. 3 fantastic fullbacks right here. Karachawi Inform, I've never personally used, but I have tried her base version, and she is literally the best for that control and building up play with. Awesome on the ball. Batcher, when I first faced up against her, I thought she had like 95 pace, ridiculously quick. And Hernandez is still super trustworthy. Fast, tall, powerful. That is my guy. Hernandez is my go-to fullback this year. So Llorente absolutely deserves a shout out. I play him in a right back position on my RTG, but he can play as a centre mid, right mid, everywhere. Really is good for the price. Diaby is top quality, a winger that you really ideally want with that speed dribbling, and he can also finish. Salah is the best version of Salah ever that I've used on any Ultimate Team. He's just ridiculous this year. Gianni, she can play on the left or the right. Very quick, smooth, what you want, and especially in front of goal. 90 finishing is real sweet. And Hansen is a woman that's in everyone's pro teams right now. She offers everything on the ball, good finishing and pace. You're going to want to check her out. So we've got some awesome players shortlisted here. And the first one, Putieles or Puteas. I don't know exactly how to say her name, but watch out for her finesse shots. And in that position, especially a cam role, she's one of the best on the ball this year. Bellingham, face stats are underwhelming, but in-game, he is strong. As a CDM or a centre mid, very good this year. Kioro, I hope I've said her name right. She's basically like a Kante equivalent and a female version, so maybe worth giving a go if you're looking for that CDM. Lamar, I play personally as a cam, or I did, and he just had fantastic dribbling, pace, finesse shot, like everything. He was very good if you're on a budget. Camavinga, quality CDM. Wouldn't recommend using him as a left back, but centre mid CDM, very nice. De Bruyne, worth it. I have never actually tried his best version, but this one here was great. So I reckon that his better version, like the regular rare, should be amazing. And then Tonali is just so auto, like really AI this year. So 100,000 coins probably is worth buying. So going over to left mid position, Kingsley Coman, I haven't had that much game time with him, but in that short spell, he showed me a lot in front of goal, dribbling, just that smoothness that you get with Kingsley Coman. I think he's really good this year. Neymar is legitimately just the best left mid that I think you can just go buy, or if you want to use him as a cam, but I like him on the wing. When I've personally used him, he's just so fast, like basically 95 pace. Literally, he's got fake stats. He's so quick to get through and just create space, and his finishing is very nice as well. Rashford can be played either on the wing or as a striker, so, you know, he has to be shortlisted. He's a good card this year, and Chiesa is just so quick. Like, if you're just wanting that sweat fest down the left-hand side, just get him in and run. That's how quick he is. So these are some awesome players for you guys to give a go. There's far too many good strikers on the game, not necessarily that have all the pace, but very good finishing. But the two main ones, Erling Haaland and Mbappe, these are just so dominant. You got Sam Kerr though, that comes in at about 200,000, and she gives you a little bit more pace than some of the other ones, but fantastic finishing with good dribbling. Alex Morgan, she isn't exactly the quickest, but her finishing is amazing, and you can hit those finesse shots until maybe EA patched the game. But finesse shots is a really good playstyle to have. Griezmann is pretty much the same. I bought him recently on the RTG, played him as a cam, and my flow just wasn't as good. But if you use him maybe as a right striker in a 4-1-2-1-2 and put some pace around him, he's going to be really good. I like him. I do like Griezmann. It's just you got to have him in the right setup. Kototo, trustworthy in front of goal. Even though she only has 60 balance, she's pretty good on the ball. Smith, everyone seems to love her. Oshola will get you up and running for the price. And Kolo Muani is one of those cards that, although he has 78 shot, you bring him in for that pace dribbling. And even though that finishing is low, I've had some good finishes with him in the past. So Kolo Muani, thumbs up. 3 bonus ones before I go and show you my custom tactics. Bernini, she's an SBC right now. Well, I don't know when you're watching this video, but if she's expired, I'm so sorry. She's one of the best cams right now for me. Chloe Kelly, you can play her as a cam, right wing, or even as a striker if you really want to. So if you're on a tight budget, go and test her out. And Rafael Varane, again, pretty damn dominant. So please try and ignore this team. I definitely wouldn't recommend it, especially with a Raquelme right attacking mid. It's just so I can show you my custom tactics. Now, I've been using mainly the 4-2-3-1 on FC24, but with these two values here, 1460, it's pretty much universal. It's a good starting foundation for any formation. So if you're really not knowing what to apply and you don't want to use the 4-2-3-1, just use 1460 and it should be a nice sweet spot. Direct passing, I personally like just to have someone making an overlapping run and just get some creativity going in some of those flat formations. Width on 50, you can play this on 45 if you want some players to come closer. I like a balance of 50, it works well for me. 6 players inside the box just to give your team a bit more of a push and an edge. You know, you want options this year, and if you do, you know, double up on your opponent, it's going to be very easy for you guys to score. It's super hard to defend. So 2 and 2 on free kicks and corners, that's all personal preference. It's really up to you. Now for the striker, stay forward, get in behind. For the left attacking and right attacking mid, it's on come back on the defense and get into the box of crosses. I've tried this on balance. I've tried this on, what's the other one? It is down the edge of the box. No, I haven't tried that. But I've tried get in the box and balance, and I prefer get into the box of crosses. It just gives you a bit more where you can just feed it over to the left or the right when you've attacked either down the right or left. For the cam, balance, I haven't bothered to change that. I think it's quite nice. I like cam actually this year with high work rate so they can drop back into the midfield and help defend. The 2 CDMs are on stay back, cover center, but I'd recommend if you have more of an attack-minded center mid and you're okay at defending, have one of them on balance so they can push up. And that's exactly how I tested out Kevin De Bruyne flashback. I used him on balance as a CDM and he was top tier. So make sure to go try that out for yourselves. And the fullbacks are just on stay back while attacking and not much else has changed. But over the next month or so, I will keep tweaking the tactics, try out new formations, and I'll probably do like another video of my findings, like the best formations that I've used on FC24. But hopefully this video you find really helpful. We've gone through pretty much controller settings, the best cameras to use, and just everything in general. So it should really give you a start on FC24. So take care and see you soon. Peace.